Hello guys. See that. Ken's Money Matters. The new merchandise, guys. The new hoodie, Ken's Money Matters. See how nice that is. Yeah. Like nice. Let me know if you want any of these. Let me know. Anyway, guys, how you doing? Back to the cold. That's why I'm wearing my hoodie, of course. Anyway, so I want to talk about Khalif Kairo. Khalif Kairo has been trending for a while. And why not, right? It's a financial issue. The guy is a businessman. He's having a few issues in court, so why not talk about it? Obviously, I'm not going to join the bandwagon and just start bashing him for no reason. For those who don't know, Khalif Kairo is a city car dealer, Nairobi city car dealer. He deals in cars. I won't say city car dealer, really. That's what the media has been saying, but he deals in cars, second-hand cars in Nairobi. He basically imports cars and then sells them in Kenya. Or if you want him to import a car for you, then he can do that as well. So there have been certain issues here and there, in the media. Khalif Kairo has been in court because of, fraudulent charges. Many issues around it, right? People calling him con man, people bashing him, people just laughing at him, and all these negative things that happen, especially if you're in Kenya or you're in Africa, because you know what? We hate ourselves so much. Anyways, I want to look at this issue from a financial perspective, from a business perspective, and then from a personal perspective. But I'm going to just look at some of the lessons we can pick from this, especially if you're starting a new business or you're in a business as we speak, or you're thinking of having a business, right? And again, I want to speak about the idea of financial literacy in business. Sometimes we do underestimate the importance of financial literacy in business. I'm not saying Khalif Kairo didn't have one. Actually, I think he does. And that's why I want to bring that point in that, you know what? You need to have really good financial literacy for you to get into business. Sometimes we underestimate that part. So you can be a very good business person, but you're not a very financially literate person, because business is about sales. You can sell. But when it comes to the revenue management, money management, that's why even some of the geniuses of the world still have to employ people to manage their money, because at the end of the day, you can't know everything and you can't be good at everything. Anyway, Khalif Kairo, those who know about Khalif Kairo, you know that he has been trending for a while in Kenya. Every media has been about Khalif Kairo, fraudulent charges, being arraigned in court, appearing in all social media platforms. And because Khalif Kairo is quite popular, especially on social media, he's quite popular on X, the former Twitter, quite popular on IG, quite popular on Facebook, quite popular on TikTok as well. So he's on all social media platforms, which I believe he's leveraged really well. Some of the things that we can actually learn from him is that the guy is a good business person. So the background of the story is that Khalif Kairo, who does import cars or sell cars, fraudulently obtained money from a few clients and he did not deliver. That's it, right? And that's an unexpected problem if you think about it. If you are doing a business, and especially a business like importing cars, a business that involves a lot of moving parts, things are bound to go wrong sometimes. Things are bound to go out of track sometimes. Things can be, out of kilter sometimes. It's normal. It's not something that people should be so worried about. If you're doing business, and even if you're thinking of doing a business today, you must be ready that sometimes things will not go as you expect them to go. So I do not know the details of what happened in terms of the contracts he signed, how he obtained the money and all those things. But as a business person who has actually found himself in this same situation, I would tell you that sometimes things don't go as expected. My view of the guy, Khalif Kairo, is that the guy actually does his work. The guy does really good marketing. He's really good in sales. He's really good in doing his job and making sure he's seen. He's leveraging the platforms really well to make sure he's everywhere. He's very good at publicity. He's good in all these fronts. And that's why he's managed to build that business at the end of the day. And so the idea of people bashing him without actually understanding the context is really wrong. Calling him a con man, calling him all these names, while this guy has been running business for a very long time. So my view of this person is a very hardworking, dedicated young man who is trying to build a business. And in the process of building a business, he faces challenges like any of us would in any business like I have myself. And the moment you face challenges in business and you are rising so fast and you are doing really well, what happens because of the self-hate that we have, then people will really bash you and take you down with them. Because why? You are trying to get away from the masses, away from them in terms of financial prosperity, and now they have a chance to pull you back down. And that's the best time for most people who are unhealed, people who suffer from a lot of trauma. And a lot of us have money trauma, wealth trauma. So the first thing we're going to do is try to pull that person who is trying to escape back down as much as we can. And that's what's happening in this case. I think the guy is quite a focused guy, quite a dedicated guy, quite a good salesperson. And I think he's meant to build an empire like he has been trying to build one. But of course, we are living in a society that is so negatively ridden that the moment you fall, their work is to kick you, and they kick you properly when you're down. And that's just how the society is, especially our society. So I think that the guy, in my view, my opinion, the guy has done his work well. I don't know the details of this particular issue that they're having, but I know he has sold so many cars. One bad business move can mess up everything. And that's how life is. You can do everything perfectly well, deliver everything you need to deliver. Like I had one of his lawyers say that he sold 1 billion Kenyan shillings last year in cars. You can do all that. You can deliver all cars. But the moment you have just one misunderstanding or one issue or one blockage with one or two clients, you are dragged into court and they call you a con man. So one simple business move can mess you up big time. It can mess your image up. It can mess everything that you have built with just one wrong business move. But again, I said earlier that you have to expect that these things can happen. You have to expect that if you're doing business, you're going to have a disagreement with a client. You're going to have some issues with delivery sometimes. You're going to have some issues with the contract terms sometimes. It's something that you must expect. But the problem is we live in a society whereby you do everything perfectly well, but you do one wrong move and you are down and they're bringing you down with it. And no one will care about the good things you've done. So when doing business, be careful that wrong move, if you can avoid that one wrong move, please do. But sometimes again, it's unavoidable. So get ready for it. The second thing is publicity. We say publicity is good publicity. In Kenya especially, any publicity is good publicity. Khalif Kairo has used the platforms that we have for free so well, and he's managed to reach millions of people selling cars. And that's one thing I respect him for. He's leveraged the power of social media to reach everyone when it comes to car sales. Publicity is good publicity. Even this particular publicity that we seem to, take on a negative spin, if he can spin it around and the way he's actually doing it right now is continuing with his work, doing everything he needs to do to get back up, I believe he will one day get back up and do really well. Because even this publicity is all about being known. And if you're doing well, you're delivering, you get back up. So publicity isn't bad. How you use that publicity is what matters. How you get up from that negative publicity is what matters. So if you're doing business, remember your publicity matters. You can say that this was such a bad publicity thing and it will mess up his business, but sometimes if you can spin this around and even sometimes win the cases, go through the courts and win the cases, then this could be your breakthrough. The universe gives you many ways of breaking through. So sometimes it gives you the tough ways, sometimes it gives you the easy ways. But when the tough ways comes, embrace them, go with the flow. Then the next lesson, number 3, is fall but keep moving. People fall sometimes from these kind of issues, but you know what? If you stay down, you are down forever. But if you wake up once again and keep going, and this again applies financially speaking, if you are doing any kind of side hustle, any kind of business, any kind of even jobs, for example, one day you have a job, the next day you don't have that job. You fall down, you wake up the next day and you keep moving. You know what? That's just part of your life experience. That's part of the journey. That's part of being scarred as you try to climb the ladder. So even as you fall, you have to stand up and keep moving. Even as difficult as it seems sometimes, you have to get back up and keep moving. Sometimes when we fall, for instance, you find people have gone into so much debt, they just completely forget about it and bury their heads in the sand. They don't want to keep moving. They don't want to keep finding solutions to get out of that hole. So I'm telling you this today from a financial perspective, whether you're doing a business, whether you have a job, whether you have a particular skill that you're doing and then at some point you can't do it, whether you have debts, anything that seems like a fall for you, financially speaking or business-wise, make sure you fall, like you will sometimes, but you have to keep moving. You have to get back up at some point, crawl, walk, run, whatever, but get back on point and keep moving. Don't fall and stay down. And that's what Khalif Kairo has done. He's fallen right now. People are laughing at him. People are bashing him. But you know what? I've seen him. He's trying to keep moving. He's trying to keep going. He's trying to make sure that everything keeps going. And of course, that's how life works. One day he gets back up and no one will remember that he fell at some point. People will just be celebrating his rise, but never knowing the scars he got when he was trying to get there. Then the other thing is, people are not happy with you. People are not clapping for you. When you're posting, like Khalif Kairo always posted his girlfriend, he's posting all these amazing destinations he's visiting, like in Jamaica, in wherever, and you think people are celebrating you? No. People are never really happy for you. People are never celebrating you. They're just waiting for your downfall. 99% of the people watching you are waiting for your downfall, and they will be so happy when you fall. When you have fun and you post it like we always do. Like personally, I travel a lot. I post my pictures all over the internet. I'm free, right? I'm living my life and I'm posting them for me, not for anyone. But 99% of the people watching you are waiting for you to fall. And the moment you fall, because I've gone through this at some point, they will kick you so hard you will be like, what the hell? You're just waiting for me to fall so you could kick me. But that's the reality of the society we live in, especially the African society, because we were taught so much self-hate and we hate ourselves so much, and we've normalized poverty, we've normalized struggling. The moment someone is trying to get out of that matrix and trying to make it in life, We tend to hate them. Envy is jealousy, is hate of self. It's hate of progress, because what you see is someone escaping from the prison that you are in. So what do? You try to bring them back down, and when you get the opportunity to bring them down, you go hard, because that's your opportunity to bring them back to the matrix where you are. So as you celebrate your wins, as you do your stuff, as you scale those heights, just remember, very few people are actually happy. Even financially speaking, as you do your investments, as you scale those heights of financial success, financial literacy, just remember that not so many people are busy clapping for you. They are waiting for you to fall, and they will rejoice when you do. So never sleep thinking, oh, everyone is happy for me. No one is. Then financial literacy is very important. That's the other lesson. Financial literacy is important. Why? In business, you have to be financially literate. You could be handling a lot of money from customers, from clients. You have to know exactly how to manage that money. You have to know exactly how to manage business money. You have to know exactly how business runs revenue-wise. If you are bad with money management, chances are you will mess up when it comes to business as well. So you could have the best business acumen, the best sales, skills, but if you can't manage your money, if you can't be financially literate within business, chances are you will struggle business-wise. I think Khalif Kairo has done really well when it comes to this front. I don't know his financial literacy skills. I don't know how far he is. I don't know how he manages his finances in the company. What I know is that financial literacy becomes very important. Sometimes because the kind of money that Khalif Kairo is talking about, or this whole case is about, it's not a lot of money. And so I'm expecting that he was in a position to actually clear back this money. If someone gave you money, let's say 2.9 million to import a car and you haven't delivered yet, for someone who has sold so much and who must have some account somewhere, you must have contingency plan. You must have an emergency fund. You must have some money that you can easily say, hey, you know what? Things are stuck on the other side for me, or things haven't delivered, but because the car isn't here yet, here is your money, Or there should be a way in which the client holds parts of the money as you deliver the car, and then they pay you the full amount of money. So there must be clear financial literacy on how you handle these issues, especially when it comes to car imports, because at the end of the day, the client wants the car. If the car hasn't arrived, they still hold you liable. And so in that case, you must have your emergency fund, because the kind of money that we were talking about was, one of them was for 2.9 million. The other one was around, I think, 2.1 million. The other one was, 3 million. Not so much money for someone who sold billions of Kenyan shillings in sales. And therefore, you must have some emergency fund for your business, whereby you're like, you know what? If things go wrong for me, this is the money I would use to get out of the hole, for me to get back on track. Because sometimes you're thinking, okay, things could be stuck from where you're importing the car. There could be so many obstacles on the way. But if you are in a position to offset any of these issues locally and then wait for the cars to come, then you're in a good place. So financial literacy becomes very important, not just on a personal level, but even when you're doing business. So remember, financial literacy is key. Before you start that business, think of your financial management, revenue systems, how you're going to manage that income and that outflow, so that you continue working despite the obstacles you will face in that business. Then the next one is that if you're doing business, be ready for courts. Don't be someone who fear the courts. Don't be someone who fear going to the cell for a few days if you're trying to defend yourself. The fact is that business is difficult. You're dealing with clients, you're dealing with people. People have their own issues, their own traumas, and they've spent their money as well. They have put in their money and their trust in you at that time. Now, things can go wrong sometimes, genuinely speaking. But you must be ready that certain things will go so wrong that you'll find yourself in front of a judge, and that shouldn't scare you. As a lawyer, I believe that's normal. This is the justice system. That's how it works. If someone feels aggrieved, there's a contract, they take you to court. And that's just normal. The only problem is that in our society, the media will run with it using all manner of titles and therefore making it look like something that's out of the ordinary. But how many business people are in court? The courts are there for that particular reason. Going to court and Khalif Kairo being dragged to court because of a business disagreement is a normal thing. That's why we have the justice system, because the justice system is supposed to help parties who are in conflict. There's a contract, there's a conflict, you go to the justice system and sort it out. So it's not a bad thing for Khalif Kairo to be in court. Why? Because we've seen all business people, so many business people go to court. If you want to do a business that involves dealing with people's money, you must be ready for courts. You should not be scared to be in court. You should not be scared to defend yourself, especially if you know that you've done all the right things and some things are just way beyond you. Be ready to go to court. Then another thing is the media will pick what sells. So if you're doing well, the media will pick whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing really poorly and people are calling you a conman and everything, the media will pick up that, because for them, it's about readership. Everyone around you, everyone is a vulture in a society that's capitalistic system. In a capitalistic system, everyone is trying to make money, everyone is trying to make sales, so the media is trying to make sales as well. They're trying to get viewership and readership. while you are struggling for your life and trying to just get, time to breathe or space to breathe, but they will be trying to get everything they can from that story. So just remember that the media might love you today and tomorrow they don't. So when you run into the media, maybe sometimes to crucify people, just remember the same media will be used against you at some point. So I hope, guys, we can learn some really good lessons from this thing. And we can learn that, we live in a society that's so negative that you can do everything right. But the moment you do one wrong thing, one wrong move, you are done for. So you have to remember, not everyone is clapping for you. Even in your investments, even in your financial journey, remember, it's just you. It's just you. Keep going, despite the challenges, despite the obstacles, keep going. For me, the case of Khalif Kairo, I think it's a case of a normal business that has gone wrong, contract not being honored, and therefore there have to be channels in which this is addressed. Either you addressed it outside the courts or you addressed it in courts. That's part of the journey. That's part of the contract as well. It's part of the contract that if you disagree, then you address it out of court through a mediation process or through just, an agreement, or you go to the justice system. I don't see any issue with it. I don't see why we should be calling someone a con man, calling him all names just because there are 2 or 3 people who are not satisfied. That should be part of business. And as Kenyans, we should be supporting someone like that to build his empire and not bring them down. Young people, we have a lot of trauma. When we see one of us is trying to make it, we try to bring them down as much as we can. We rarely support our fellow young people. So it's just a lesson, guys. Whatever it is you're doing, remember these lessons I've taught today. Until next time, I'm out.